A showdown over the shutdown playing out on live TV. President Trump arguing with Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi in the Oval Office over funding for his border wall and just keeping the government open. Schumer stating his case to the commander-in-chief.
We do not want to shut down the government. You have called 20 times to shut down the government. You say, I want to shut down the government. We don't. We want to come to an agreement. If we can't come to an agreement, we have solutions that will pass the House and Senate right now and will not shut down the government, and that's what we're urging you to do.
Here with me, co-host of The Five, Juan Williams, and former New York Congresswoman Nan Hayworth. Great to have you both here. So this is Nancy Pelosi. She's not speaker yet. She still has to get over that hurdle, but this was the first chance for her to show her base and her supporters that she's still got it in her.
Well, I think, Dana, you got it exactly right. This was a sort of dog and pony show where they put on a performance for the cameras. But it also might be a baseline in terms of the actual negotiations that will not be televised. This revolution is about whether or not you get the wall. Now, her base, and I must say, I want to define the base very carefully here. The most extreme elements of the Democratic Party will not tolerate any kind of wall. And I think Chuck Schumer, who is, as you know, the minority leader in the Senate, has heard this already. Not only in general from the far left, but from people in his Hispanic caucus who have said to him clearly they can't tolerate any kind of compromise. Schumer, as you know, is willing to give the president, I think it's $1.6 billion.
And he's voted for border security and walls and fencing in the past.
Right, but not this wall.
Right. So I guess, and then it does feel like it's being, the politics is being played. I showed Bret Baier this poll that came out today, NPR Marist, and we don't have to bring it up again, but I'll just reiterate that 65% of Republicans, when they're asked about should the president compromise on the wall, they say no. Like, do not compromise.
And you know what else is interesting, Dana? Aside from the fact that, as Juan knows well, Democrats just a few years back were all about border security and about stricter immigration laws. But in addition, the four pillars of the president's plan, including DACA, legality, path to citizenship, the wall, yes, and the visa lottery, and let's modulate, extended family chain migration, actually won with constituencies among Democrats, Hillary Clinton voters, and communities of color. So the president actually has an effective plan that could be accepted. So I do hope that the Democrats, look, they're on their way, and Juan, you said it, they're on their way to a compromise. We know that. We've got a House of Representatives. It's going to
hold you there, Nan. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell commented on all of this, so he helps us out. We have a little sound from him.
Well, I hope that's not where we end up. I understand it was a rather spirited meeting. We all watched. But I'd still like to see a smooth ending here, and I haven't given up hope that that's what we'll have.
Well, take a listen to Nancy Pelosi here, too, talking in the Oval Office about that the House Republicans could bring it up if they wanted to.
And we're here to have a conversation in a prayerful way, so I don't think we should have a debate in front of the press on this. But the fact is, the House Republicans could bring up this bill, if they had the votes, immediately and set the tone for what you want.
So does she have a point that the Republicans should have the leverage here?
I don't know about leverage. I'm interested in your language because I think that they have the opportunity. In other words, they could, in fact, vote because they have the majority, as you well know, and what they could vote on would come directly from the president, and then that would be the starting point for the bargaining.
Yeah, but that's what I meant by leverage, is that at this point, until January 3rd, they have the majority.
Right. And if the Senate majority had relinquished the filibuster on passing legislation, they could have passed an immigration bill and a health care bill, but they didn't do that.
While I have you, I wanted to bring up one other thing, because Elise Stefanik, she's a congresswoman from upstate
New York.
Yes, I know Elise.
I'm a supporter of
She's at an
hers.
event today, Politico, and she's been, she's a young Republican woman. She is on a mission to try to get the party to realize they have a problem with women. Listen to her earlier today.
I said, newsflash, I didn't ask for permission. And I will not ask for permission. And Thomas Smart, he has changed his tune since then. And he has said that he supports those efforts. And he says that we need hundreds more women in Congress. I am tired of having this issue within our conference. So I think it's time to roll up our sleeves and try to change the types of candidates we have in general election.
She's referring to Tom Emmer. He's going to be the NRCC chairman, who said he's on board. He wants to support her. You were a Republican member of Congress.
Yes.
What do you think about all this?
I was one of the 10% of members of our House Republican Conference who were women. And certainly we had great respect from our male colleagues, but we all know that we have a challenge. And now, Elisa's being joined by Ann Wagner and Diane Black, who's now retiring, but and all the other women in the Republican Conference and the Senate. Republican women need to be especially fostered right now. And that means that Republicans on the ground and the NRCC, instead of concentrating on incumbent protection, which they tend to do,
Right.
actually need to boldly invest in grassroots efforts to reach out to women. I'm proud to be in the Independent Women's Forum. We speak on issues directly to women to let them know that issues that Republicans are concerned about are issues that should concern us all, and they are pro-women. But Republicans need to embrace that.
You've seen efforts before where parties try to realign and evolve. How do you think the Republicans will do if they, in the next 2 years?
On this issue of
Well,
women,
I think women, especially heading into 2020, which is going to be a
that's
tough re-election
one.
year.
So here's the problem. I mean, you have record numbers of Democratic women coming into the House at the moment, and you see dwindling numbers of Republican women at the same time. I think a lot of this is linked to Donald Trump. In fact, a lot of those suburban white women voted for Trump. That's how he got states like Pennsylvania and proved successful in terms of winning the Electoral College. Now, those same women have moved away, and I think that's why Congresswoman Stefanik is so concerned, because if the party does not make an effort, there's no way they're going to address that problem in the next 2 years.
Well, we'll hope to have Elise Stefanik on to talk to us about it soon. Juan Williams, Ann Hayworth, thanks for being here today.